live again. Yeah, sorry about that, my computer. I don't know. Every once in a while my computer just decides to crash on me. It's almost like I can't access the hard drive, but I know my hard drive is fine. So I basically decided that it's probably or something to do with Windows, so I don't know. Sometime I probably just gotta do a fresh install of it. It's really a pain though because it doesn't like follow any pattern, so it's hard for me to try and diagnose it. But yeah, Visual Studio is taking forever to start up, but we'll be there soon. Unfortunately, it happened right as I was saving. But I guess if it did mess up something, I can just revert and get... Well, yeah, how about E3 this week? It's been fun for me to watch. I'm kind of a Nintendo fanboy, so they've been my favorite, but I had to say a bunch of companies had pretty good showings, so... Okay, so yeah, it looks like the player and monster files are like corrupted or something, so let's go look and see what happened to that. Oh, they're just not even there? Okay to me. Let's add something so I can save it. And I'll do the same to the player class. Hopefully that'll make it reappear. Helping, is it? Okay, let's just restart Unity. Hopefully we'll see that nothing's wrong with these files anymore. Still not showing up. Refresh. Re-import. Okay, that's what I had to do. Re-import. Never had this problem before, but strange. Okay, so let's go in here, and I want to make this position just a normal int. In fact, I think I'll do that with all this stuff until I know exactly how I'm going to store these things. Because obviously in this game you don't know everything about your opponent's monsters. So that's why I had these knowable values, but I think I was probably getting ahead of myself trying to type them or figure them out yet, so. Okay, and then I guess I can make statistics serializable. I'm not sure if it'll print read-only values, to be honest. I guess there's only one way to find out. It looks like I deleted my debug object. then all I have to do here is just change this. Simplify that. We don't even need these map generators anymore. I think I'll just delete them. Value there. Okay, so now is everything happy? So let's press play. Right, and so 13. Alright, so now it's showing up, right? So now I can try and see why it's not letting me move. It might just be something wrong with the actual monster selection script, because as far as I can see, the team is set up correctly. Like, this is me, the local player, and I have a team size 1, which is monster 0, and that's in position 13, which should be this one behind. And so when I click on it, it should work, but actually maybe that monster is selected already, but I can't actually pick. I guess it might be a good idea to do camera controls, because it looks like I can't even see what's going on. An easier thing might just be to rearrange the camera manually. Rotate it. That's not what I want to do. More above like that. So if I pick here. Okay, so did it just auto select that monster for me? It looks like it did auto-select the monster, which I'm not really sure why it did that, but I guess now would be a good time to, maybe that's what we should do, work on how we'll select the abilities for monsters and things. That's kind of a big project, but so let's see. This is the part where we select action, so it's starting with the player. Okay, so yeah, it just selects the player on. Well, it starts with the player, but I don't know why it selected the monster for me or something. Or maybe that's just how I have it set up. I guess it must be. Oh yeah, because when we start with player, it just picks. It just generates our actions for us. Let's see. yeah, it just picks our first monster. Okay, so I just forgot that it auto-picked, so everything is working actually how we had planned it. But now might be a good time to make it a little more complicated. Maybe get some actual scripting into the mix. Kind of want to try and get some better graphics, to be honest, but I need to brush up on my Blender, so that might be our project for next week. Try and load in some better graphics for these tiles and something else for the monster even. At least something not completely bare bones. Alright, so decide what I want to do right now, because we still have about 45 minutes. I guess the camera might be a good place to start. So how would we want to work the camera in this game? I need to be able to rotate it. And in most games, when you rotate the camera, they kind of just have a button. And then you scroll in and out with a wheel. And then probably move, you can just click and drag, like if you drag in an empty place. Or you can hover by the edge of the screen, maybe. There's lots of, or even both. I'm trying to think how to like have you move the camera. I can't even. It's so ingrained, I can't think of it. I think you just scroll, put your mouse to the edge of the screen. Alright, but I think that'll work for us. So let's, I guess I'll work on that for now. Okay, so we'll need to have some class, probably not in the data class, it'd be in the map. Okay, so let's say this will be the camera. That's not how you spell camera. Oh jeez. Camera position. This will just be basically a data class that we can pass around to other objects to do things with. So we'll have public, float, zoom, and public, vector. How do we want to... I guess this would be like the anchor position. Trying to decide how I wanted to store the position of the camera, because right now, or in Unity, it's like we have this anchor which is down here, and then zoom is basically the distance of the camera from the anchor, and then the angle is the rotation of the anchor, so not really the rotation of the camera. I guess we can just assume that's how we'll store it. I wasn't sure if I wanted to try to separate the data from Unity if it would be easier that way. So let's call this anchor position. And then we'll have a quaternion for the anchor rotation. I did spell it right. And then so zoom, I guess this will be, I don't know, distance from anchor, which is basically the zoom, but okay, this should be public. Okay, so now I want to make the class in the UX, and if you remember, the UX is basically any kind of graphics or whatever we have, graphic controllers, and also input, just to have like a level of abstraction between the actual game logic and the Unity engine. It just makes things easier to test and then change as well if Unity ever changes. Okay, so this will just be the camera, I guess we can just call it the camera positioner. It won't actually do anything except set the values in the camera position to our actual camera object. And it will be mono behavior, right with a U. Okay, and we can get private void. Oh, not void. Private. Oh, except I'm putting it in the namespace again. So private camera position. And then void start. So position equals game link. Game components, get or register camera position. So this would be a map component. And I need to create the create function for it, as well as this enumeration. I don't think it'll let me generate that object or that function. So public static camera position. I don't know why I'm having so much trouble spelling camera tonight. Position. Okay, and probably on the constructor we should have it generate some sane values for these positions. Vector 3, 0. And really the one you need to worry about is the rotation, because you need to set it to the identity quaternion, which is not the same as the default quaternion. Okay, distance from anchor, we don't want it to be 0 there either, so then on update, we would set the camera. I mean, you could maybe have some message, like if you don't want to do this on every frame, you might have some message like camera position changed, but camera, I guess we'll just have anchor. Oh yeah, not serializable, serialized field. But the camera will be moving so often in the game that you might as well just have it update every frame. Alright, and so mono behaviors have a default camera variable. And you can just type new to override it, because I'm never going to use it, so I'd rather just have my own. Okay, so anchor position equals position dot anchor position. Rotation equals position dot anchor rotation, and then camera transform. Come on. Local position is new, and so we'll only change the Z, and it's the negative of the position distance from anchor. Okay, so we can actually just add this class to the anchor. Oh, it hadn't. What's it called? Compiled yet? So now we just put these components in here in Unity. And now I think it will work. Of course, the camera's going to look very strange now. Or not, it doesn't look strange, it's just not that useful. Oh, insertion failed. Play subcontroller, constructor. 15, okay, let's see what that is. Oh, I think I know what it is actually already. Yeah, I'm doing the game components, but it's actually the game link. Okay, I don't have anything. Any shortcut to this, but I want to get the controller. Can I just do it like this? So game, controller, components. Alright, but the controller doesn't have a link to the components because it's not by default. Okay, so let's close up with this. I'll make a shortcut. This will be controller comps. Oh, I guess it's the component registry, isn't it? It's not in there? Using, oh yeah, that's right. Okay, so we load. I don't really need this load controller anymore. Or load mode, but whatever. Okay, so we'll return auto controller. This game controller dot components. And then there's one other thing we might want: the sub controller components, which, for example, the play scene is actually a sub controller of the map controller. So we'd actually convert this to map. Should have map controller right here. Oh, but I'm probably not using this. Okay, dot subcontroller dot components. Of course, these will throw errors if they can't cast it, but that would be my fault. Oh, actually, This will throw or create problems. I guess I'll just show. So if I press play, I don't think it'll have any errors. Actually, we might, but okay, no. Kind of surprised, but so right now it looks okay, but if I try to move the anchor, it will actually let me, or does it not? Okay, I keep putting my foot in my mouth, but I know this isn't working right. I can't really show it right now. Let's see. Let's do something really quick. Go to this map controller and let's just have something kind of hacky in here. Some private camera position. Let's get it right here. Position equals components. Good. Register. Alright, and then every frame I'll just have it rotate a little bit. So position, camera rotation, and the way I can do that is just use the multiply operation. If you multiply quaternion, that's the same thing as rotating. So if I quaternion, let's rotate it by, like, I don't know, 90 degrees a second. So Unity engine, quaternion, Euler. Okay, 0, 0, rotate around the z-axis. Okay. So now we can see when we play the game, it won't actually rotate because the camera is referring to a different camera position object. And you can see nothing's happening. And the reason is because this camera positioner class instantiates when the controller is not actually the map controller. So that does complicate things. We can prove that by debug log. Even this isn't using Unity Engine debug. Okay, I need to change this debug namespace. Okay, this is gonna make it really annoying to use the log. Okay, so let's rename to testing. And then here I'll rename this namespace. Alright. Okay, so now I can use debug easily. So if I get the controller from the game link, you can see it will be probably the lobby controller. Game controller. Yes, I knew this problem would come up eventually because the controller changes while we stay in the same Unity scene. I don't think there's, unfortunately, no simple way to fix it. Oh yeah, so it's a title controller. So what we need to do is listen to the game link, or the game. It has a message when the controller enters, which will let us know when a new controller is registered. But also, since this is a global message, we need to use the what's it called? Void. Then we need to use a cleanup janitor so that we don't leave our hook in there, even if this object is disposed. So let's call setup controller. Let's see if I can think of a way to simplify this code, because we're gonna have to do it pretty much for every Unity object. So on enter. Oh, not, it's on disable, that's what I was looking for. Okay, so private component, janitor, so basically cleanup equals new. This is really just a simple way to, oh, I don't want component janitor, I want a listener janitor, to remember what objects we're registering in, so we don't have to try and keep track of it all ourselves. So it's my controller. Subscribable is the game link, game controller enter message, and our listener would be new simple listener game controller. I guess we'll just call setup controller. We only want to do this if, so if object is, it's probably better with this map controller equals object as map controller, and then if object does not equal null, that means that we cast it successfully, and we can just use this object's components. So it'd be, yeah, I need to make sure to use this value now. Okay, and then on enable we set cleanup active is true, and cleanup active false. I think I need to make sure that we start active here, or we'll have some problems. I have this new and activate constructor or static method to do that for me, so it creates a new listener janitor and sets it active by default. Because Unity has kind of weird order of operations where it calls on enable before it calls start. Oh, that's actually going to be a pain because cleanup will be null here. So if cleanup is not equal null, then we call. Hi, Lickham. Thanks for stopping by. Alright, so let's see. What's the next part we need to do? On disable. Yeah, I wonder if I need to put null there too. I actually don't know. Why not call one method enable, disable, check for null, and set boolean. Well, unfortunately, that's just not how Unity works. It would be simpler that way. They have two separate functions. Okay, so let's see. Okay, well at least now we're rotating. It's not rotating exactly how I thought it would, but that's okay. Alright, and so this update is false because disable, you don't want to check for null? Well, I don't think I'll need to because it shouldn't ever be null on the disable function. Okay, so I want to... Okay, no, I can't do that because I'll call this. So I guess I better save here. So if position does not equal null, what I wanted to do was set the enabled flag, which makes Unity either call or not call this update function. But if I do that, it'll also trigger these functions to be called, which will mess everything up. So I've got to just check to make sure position isn't null. Okay, so at least now it actually has the correct reference to the camera, which we can tell because it starts rotating and only once the map is generated. Alright, I always get confused. I was thinking it's not rotating the way I thought it was, and that's because the Z-axis in Unity is pointing into the screen. I always think of Z as pointing upwards. But I think if I rotate around the Y, it should look how I was expecting it. Yeah. Although I need to... I guess it is centered around the bottom, but obviously we want to have the camera do this in the game. It's just to make sure everything's linked up. Okay, so let me comment this out. And so now we need our actual class, which will let us have input into the camera. I guess I can just call it the camera. I don't want to use controller because controller I used to refer to the scene logic. Camera. I guess we could just call it camera positioner again, but that'd be a little confusing. Let's see. I guess I'll just say camera manager. That's fine. Yeah, that's a pretty big game already. I wish there was a way I could see the number of lines of code I've written for the whole project, but not sure how to do that. Okay, so this will use the map controller, and I'll want to get the camera position again. Smart camera supervisor, that would actually make a little sense. I do tend to use manager a little too often, but I guess you don't have to be super creative with class names as long as they make sense. Okay, so we have the camera position, but we don't actually have any input. So I guess I should make another data class for that. So how I usually do it is I use a lot of these input classes, but I guess that'd be okay. I don't remember how I modeled like the mouse wheel. I really need a subscribable value because the mouse will change every frame basically. Very nice, camera manager. That sounds good too. Okay, so let's see. So the mouse position is basically just a vector 2. So one way I could do it is use subscribable value vector 2, but it would call the message like every frame, and it's not really needed. So let's see, I should probably just make a mouse position class that's specifically made for the mouse. Where do I live? I live in Texas. Specifically Houston area. Okay. I don't have good experience with Texas. It's a little hot, I have to complain, but so let's see. I guess that's all I need there. So we'll have this mouse position class. I guess I should make a constructor. Maybe that doesn't do anything. And then monster position. Yeah, I will need to do that for my Pokemonsters pretty soon. So we're trying to do static. I want to have this create function here. Oh, I gotta return it, of course. Alright, so the mouse is controller, components. Okay, well the mouse is pretty much going to need to be for every scene, so I wonder if I should make it a global component. Might as well. Game components, get or register mouse position. Oh yeah, controller. That's a very common typo for me. Global components. Let's call this mouse position. Create. Okay, so the reason we need this is because we'll use the mouse to detect how far to drag the camera. So we'll also need, let's see, subscribable bool, and this will be the left click. And so we'll need to do other things, of course, like the mouse wheel, but I'll have to look into that. Yeah, that's another good way to get finger tied. Let's go register. So do I want this, the left click, to be global as well? Probably. I mean, the mouse is just so used all the time. Let's see. Do I know RX? Is that a language? Programming language? So I guess I don't. So go ahead and subscribe to when this changes. Okay, so we need to know both when the mouse or left click is pressed and not pressed, so we can just subscribe to a normal listener here. Or use a simple listener here, I mean. So on left click, change. Oh, reactive extensions in C#. Doesn't ring a bell. I'll need to look into that. Although it is pretty late where I am, so my brain is not all here. Okay, so this is now pressed, and so we'll need to keep track of was left click pressed, and I'll just go ahead and instantiate this right here, or not instantiate, set the value. Okay, so we want to see, well, obviously this should always change, so we don't really need to check. I guess we don't really need to keep left click because there's only two states of left click, and if we know if it's now pressed or not, we also know what it was, because this only fires when it changes, so we don't need this after all. Okay, thanks Lick, I'll look into that. Oh, okay, so it's like a replacement for events. That looks interesting. Yeah, I already kind of wrote my own messenger thing to work in Unity, but I'm sure I can learn something from that. Alright, so let's see. And then we also need, this will obviously update, so we can go ahead and go ahead and implement this. Let's see. Should be public. Okay, so I don't know what priority I'll be yet, so I'll just leave that unimplemented for now. Okay, event, multi-threaded events, sync or async. Okay, that does look interesting. Okay, so I'm about out of time, so I'll just write some comments here so I know where to pick up. Okay, so start, drag, camera, and then I need to figure out the scroll wheel, also move mouse to the edge of the screen, and somehow we'll rotate. I'll need to probably do some research on the best way to do that. In a lot of games you just press a button on the corner of the screen, but I don't really like that. I guess you could do arrow keys or something. Hi Gangster Jervy, I'm working on some camera code. But unfortunately I'm gonna have to leave in a minute. Came in right at the end. Nothing about programming, but you're wanting to learn it. I think watching people is a good way. I mean, feel free to ask any questions. Probably just jumping in. I think one of the first things I programmed was actually a Tetris game, and I learned a lot from that. Handlers are handled sequentially. That's nice. We have had some problems with that kind of thing. But yeah, I guess my time's up. So yeah, thanks everybody for coming by and watching and chatting. I'll definitely look into the reactive extensions. It looks interesting, so thank you for linking me to that. But if you guys missed some of the streams and you want to catch up, you can look at my YouTube channel. I'll post this video here tomorrow morning. And then of course you can subscribe or follow, to be notified when I come back. But totally confused. Oh, it's safe to say you're totally confused about what any of this is. Oh, ROM hack, so that's pretty interesting. Thanks Gangster Jervy. Should be live this weekend sometime. Definitely Monday as well. Oh wow, it is pretty late for you, Lick. Alright, well have a good night then. But yeah, so I'll be back probably tomorrow, so I hope to see you guys then. And again, thanks for watching. Bye bye.